Chapter 225 Zombie Jiao Dragon. Everyone secretly prepared themselves, and as a group, quickly snuck away from the camp. They only had a cooperating relationship with the Jade Seal family, and nearly didn't want their activities to become overly restricted. The entrance to the first level of the 9-layered Deathlands was a long, winding road that led into a dense fog. Everything was shrouded in thick layers of fog, making it impossible to see. Occasionally, the shadows of a few people were seen walking upon the narrow path, heading deeper into the fog. Within the fog, Neely could periodically sense the auras of death drifting towards him on a non-existent. Sensing the terrifying death aura, everyone shivered. Fortunately, there are demigod. Following closely, someone has placed a fog of misleading over this area. Neely yelled. However, Xiao Nigger was already gone. Where are Nigger and the rest? Yixian asked with a tone of nervousness and worry. They'll be alright. They may have strayed away from us, but our soul realms have already formed the soul array, so we should be able to sense their presence. Neely briefly reached out her senses before saying, We'll meet up eventually. Having her hand grabbed by Neely, Yixian couldn't help turning slightly red. However, she didn't dare let go because she knew that the fog of misleading would separate them if they let their guards down for even a moment. She never imagined that she would suddenly become Neely's fiancé, and still felt a little uncomfortable with her new title. Neely led Yixian outside the range of the fog. Having traversed through the dense fog for hours, Neely and Yixian finally exited. Although they could sense the others were not far from their location, they knew that actually finding them would not be an easy task. After exiting the fog, Neely saw many figures in the distance, soaring and skimming the ground as rays of scarlet light. Waves of mysterious and majestic auras were spreading throughout their surroundings, and he could sense that it contained an unquantifiable amounts of energy, pure energy. The thought moved Neely's heart. Could this be a sign of some treasure being born? Follow me, Neely said to Yixian as he skimmed forward. Yixian followed behind Neely as the two of them flew towards the distant scene. Before them was a huge lake with muddy water. However, there seemed to be something hidden within its depth. As the scarlet rays penetrated the muddy lake water and emerged again, just sensing the aura within would give others a relaxed sensation. The object in the lake had obviously attracted the lust from countless others. Experts from the various families were gathered at the edge of the lake, trying to contest over for the treasure in the lake. However, no one dared to enter it. This wasn't the first time many of them had come here. Although the first layer of the 9-layered Deathlands were rather safe, many places still had danger lurking around, especially in the lake. No one knew what was hidden in that abyss. The treasure in the lake must have attracted the greed of many. I never thought that the first layer of the 9-layered Deathlands would have something hidden and such pure energy. This is definitely something powerful. Although around the edge of the lake, hundreds of warriors had already gathered. They were taking guard against one another. Once the treasure was born, there would definitely be a bloody scramble for it. Who dares to enter the lake and fish it up? One of the well-dressed young masters knitted his brows. There wasn't any meaning in waiting at the edge of the lake for something else to service. Young master, I have just recalled something. In the past, there were legends about this lake harboring some treasure. A few years ago, this place suddenly blossomed with red lights, but they quickly disappeared. Afterwards, several demigod-ranked warriors came over to investigate this matter but didn't find anything, so the investigation was dropped, said one of the servants, standing beside the silver-armored man with respect. The well-dressed young master furrowed his brows for a brief moment. Who knew when the treasure was in the lake would conceal itself again? The chances were fleeting. The young master made a grab with his right hand, lifted the servant, and threw him into the lake. The servant was a black gold rank warrior, but he had actually been caught and lifted like a baby bird. Get down there and fish it up for me, the well-dressed young master ordered in cold arrogance. The servant had been thrown into the lake with a plot, didn't dare to come up. Instead, he dived into the water and began his search. He gradually disappeared into the muddy lake water. Suddenly, violent ripples appeared across the lake's surface. A moment later, a dense cloud of blood floated up. Upon seeing the scene, everyone's faces turned ghastly pale. There was probably something terrifying hidden in the lake, and the poor servant was probably done for. The well-dressed young master's face had also turned colder. Losing one of his men and receiving nothing in return had darkened his mood. The crowd distanced itself a little from the well-dressed young master, each fearing himself to be the next one thrown in. Who is that man? You don't even know who he is? He's Chang Ming. I'll call him Chang. Chang Ming from the Soul Wing family. He reputed to be the #1 genius in the entire Nether Realm. So he is that Chang Ming. Everyone had fear written on their faces. Chang Ming was worthy to be known as #1 genius of the Nether Realm, as he had reached the pinnacle of the legendary rank at such a young age. It's said that he had come prepared this time, trying to become the successor of the Nether Realm's master. Not far away from Chang Ming, several figures stood proudly, each with an aura comparable to Chang Ming's. I say comparable, not incomparable. Right. Originally, people of this level wouldn't come to such a place. However, there were still 3 days until the 7th floor opened up, and most of them were bored or waiting. To pass the time, they had come to the Deathlands to sightsee. They never imagined that they would encounter the Scarlet Treasury by chance. Glancing at the warriors from the various families, Yizio's elegant face expressed loathing, especially towards Chang Ming, who treated human life like dirt. Compared to him, even those at the Glory City appeared kind-hearted. Aside from the Sacred Family and a few others, people didn't usually kill each other. Although everyone was lusting after the treasure in the lake, no one dared to go down. Suddenly, a clear voice rang out from far away as it laughed. Brother Chang Ming, why don't the two go down and fish the treasure up? As for the distribution of the treasure, we'll decide after that. The one who spoke was a delicate young man around 16 to 17 years old. He wore very luxurious bright white clothes and stood very proudly. His clothes fluttered in the wind as he displayed a tranquil smile and carefree attitude. Who is that man? Mu Yi of the Soul Refinery family. He's also a super genius. It's just that he's been secluded in his training for many years and hasn't seen much of the outside world since he was young. Most people have no idea as to what degree his cultivation has reached. The discussions in the crowd were all heard by Ni Li. Both Mu Yi and Chang Ming were from the super families in the nether realm. It seemed like the number of people coming after this treasure was indeed quite high. Upon hearing Mu Yi's words, Chang Ming laughed and said, "Since you have already said so, why wouldn't I dare?" Although he has no idea what was hidden in the depths of the lake, he wasn't unafraid. Wait, does that make sense? Oh, yeah, it does. He had the treasured armor that has been passed down through his family, so he naturally wouldn't be weak. Plop, plop, plop. Chang Ming, Mu Yi, and 4 other warriors jumped into the lake. After 6 of them, no one else dared to follow up. Those warriors standing at the edge of the lake felt their scalps going numb from staring into the muddy lake water. This was, after all, a 9-layered Deathlands with many unexplored areas. Who knows if a terrifying creature is hiding within? Right after 6 warriors entered, the lake water rolled in pillars of water, shot high into the sky. A banging sound was heard from the bottom of the lake. An intense fight must be going on. Suddenly, a huge demon beast rushed out of the lake, issuing furious roars as it flew into the sky. On its forehead, a pearl was embedded that emitted a deadly scarlet luster. This demon beast slightly resembled a lizard, with black scales covering its entire body. Although its 4 limbs were oddly short, it had a long tail, tens of meters long, and released a terrifying aura of death from its body. Seeing the scene, everyone by the edge of the lake was scared to the point that their expressions changed as they crowded in surprise. That's the zombie Jiao dragon! Quick, run! The crowds of over 100 people who had been standing by the lake immediately scattered like birds, leaving behind only those who were prepared to fight. "What's the zombie Jiao dragon?" Yixian asked out of curiosity. Although they stood out very far from it, she could still clearly distinguish the features of the demon beast. The zombie Jiao dragon is a snake-type demon beast born from mountains of thousands of corpses. They grew up by devouring the power left behind from the corpses, then formed into a creature with intelligence. All fully formed zombie Jiao dragons have legend rank strength. After every millennium, the zombie Jiao dragon will become stronger by 1 level. Upon reaching 10,000 years, it will become an existence that could rival spiritual gods. Ooh. And here's a short text of what it is. A zombie Jiao dragon. Those long snake-like dragons in Chinese folklore. In order to differentiate them from Western winged dragons, I'll be using Jiao dragons as per Ren's suggestion. Alright, this is the translator's note. Alright. End.